Good morning. It's Friday. We made it to another weekend. It's the Bubba Show. It is Commodity Corner, and has anybody been paying attention to what's been going on with these commodity markets? Have we noticed the struggle in gold? Okay, now gold is in a range, and as we talked about last week, we see gold held around that 1630 level and tried to rally, only to come off a little bit again. But, I think that you can safely be a buyer of gold in the low 16s. I think you can safely be a higher of gold in the high 16s. I don't think we're breaking out. The overall trend in gold right now is lower. I think you want to take a look at the oil space. The oil space is held up based on a lot of fear in the Mideast, plus technically oil has been strong. We are up here against some double tops. I think that the medium-term trend is up, the longer-term trend is a little lower here, and I think that oil, although very congested here, kind of whipping around between 92 and 94, I think you want to be a seller up around that 94 level, and you want to take a look around that 92 level. As you look at the grain markets, last Friday they had their crop reports, and they were very bullish, saying that there was more damage. In the meantime, soybeans got cracked, and they're still cracked. Soybeans are in what we would call a bear market now. Wheat and corn both rallied a little bit, but I think those are just opportunities to take advantage. You have to look now in the commodity space as a weakened down space. They ran too far too fast over the drought. You can see if you look at any major commodity that they can only be worth so much. Once they get to a certain point, they are going to sell off and they're going to get themselves in the markets. And right now, I think the grains are in bear markets, and I think you have to look for every opportunity to sell those rallies. And that's the focus, because the risk is coming out of commodities as we see a sell-off in the dollar and a sell-off in the treasuries. We start to see that there's becoming a little bit too much action on the risk side of the market, and eventually that's going to come up. The commodities are telling you that we are really in a risk-off environment, not a risk-on, even though we're getting some divergences here. So taking a look at my predictions for this last week, we will say that the market, the Dow itself, or the S&P, I will say will be somewhere between 2% of flat. I think gold will be probably 2 to 3% of flat. I look for oil to be lower, and I look for the grain markets to be lower, and I look to see the market start to be congesting and maybe take a little pressure. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for watching the Bubba Show. We'll see you on Monday.